What is the equivalent of the Linux command sudo fdisk l in MacOS? In Linux, the command sudo fdisk l produces an output that lists all the disks and partitions in the computer. Here is an example. If I try to use sudo fdisk l in MacOS X 10.7.5, the output is the following one. Is there a command in MacOS to replicate the behavior of fdisk l in Linux?
You can use the diskutal tool for that.
As far as I remember. For MacOS and NBSB, X. Diskutal, manpage, is a command line tool for everything macOS and NBSB, X can handle, i.e. it will provide as much or more than disk utility can do graphically. For MS-DOS MBR, master boot record, partition drives, use fdisk, manpage. For Apple M, Apple partition map, partition drives, use disk, manpage. For Apple and UEFI GPT, Git partition table, partition drives, use GPT, manpage. If you want a GPT command that is fdisk-like, you should try disk GPT fdisk from Rod Smith. You can find important associated information here and download information here. For Linux, modern Linux uses parted for partitioning, so fdisk may still be around, but you would really want to use parted instead. New parted supports all common partition tables, including MBR, app and GPT. Most Linux distributions have good manuals for the use of parted, i.e. during installation, but I always recommend reading the wiki pages from Arch Linux, they are the best, except that this particular one is currently not very up to date, December 30th, 2016. Fdisk is for MBR partitions only. If you try to change the partition table on a GPT partition disk, you will instead corrupt the protective MBR which is part of the GPT specification. Parted will prevent you from doing that. Fdisk has been ported from Darwin, the BSD base of macOS and NBSB, X, to Linux, so you could also use disk to create an M partition table and manage its partitions. The problem is that modern Linux distributions don't include a precompiled package with disk anymore. Status of disk. Mac fdisk is the way to go on Linux/PowerPC. Most x86 and x64 distributions don't include Mac fdisk because it is big Indian only. Looking at Debian you see that only PowerPC/PowerPC 64 packages are available, except for experimental packages for M68K, but not x86. The only Linux I know of that has a working Mac fdisk on x86/AM64 is Gentoo Linux. For GPT partitions Parted does a great job. If you want a fdisk-like command line tool, you can use either GPT or disk, although there might be more. To answer your question, fdisk on MacOS, previously OS and NBSB, X, originally macOS and NBSB, X, acts just the same, but you should check for the partitioning scheme used. x86 pieces, 16-bit, 32-bit i386 and 64-bit x64, with BIOS UST Master Partition Record, MBR. Intel Itanium, YA64, x86 pieces, YA32, this includes 64-bit IE and 64IE x64IE x86-64, with UEFI and Intel Max, all of them use EFI/UEFI, Universal Extensible Firmware Interface, use the Git partition table, GPT. Apple Macintosh running on M86K, Motorola 68000 series of processors, and PowerPC use Apple Partition Map, AM. This doesn't limit the particular partitioning scheme of external drives, naturally, since all of those computers can use each partitioning scheme on external media if the operating system supports it. But for internal drives, more specifically, boot drives, only the one partitioning scheme can be used. Therefore, if you use fdisk on a Mac on an internal drive, you will have no luck, since there is no MBR on that drive. It is either ATM or GPT. Likewise, if you use fdisk on a modern PC with UEFI, or an Intel Mac with EFI, you will only see the protective MBR of the GPT, not the real partition table. For creating/managing partitions, running fdisk on an external drive that uses MBR partitioning will work on MacOS like it does on Linux. For listing existing partitions on macOS, MacOS and NBSP, X, use, sudo disk-util list, see also this great article at osxdaily.com. On Linux, the equivalent is, sudo partedl, or if you want a specific drive only, sudo parted/dev/sda print.
Simply use fdisk/dev/disk0 to get CHS and end block of a partition.